Good afternoon. I was awake in the middle of the night 2 nights in a row this week, and as I lay in my bed trying to go back to sleep, I was assessing why I was awake and wondering if I was anxious, and decided no, but that I was not really tired, and I guess that just comes from being fairly inactive. Although I am still working, my body isn't getting enough exercise to be tired. But there are nights where I have been anxious. And as I was laying there thinking about what I could potentially do, I wondered if I was doing enough for others, and if I should be writing or speaking or doing a variety of different things. So I got up and thought about some of my thoughts. And certainly in the middle of the night is a time when I sometimes feel the anxiety of daily life, and over the years have learned to seek peace and find peace from my relationship with Christ. And so I wanted to read today some of those verses that I go back to that are bedrocks of peace. And so I'm reading from John 14, verses 1 to 3. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. And I know that seems a little bit mortal, but we're in a time when mortality is very real. And I think this became really important to me even as a teenager. And I guess mortality isn't as much an issue, but the idea that there's a plan for my life, and that Jesus wants me to be with him, and that will bring me peace. In the same chapter, verse 27 says, Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. And I recognize that this time that we're in is a time of shaking some of the things that we put our trust in, and whether that's education or employment or investments or a variety of things. These things are all uncertain, and this time is definitely underscoring that. And the thing that is most certain is Christ. And so we can find peace there. Later in the early church, Paul wrote to Christians, and obviously they were wrestling with anxiety, and he writes, Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And I've often heard that this word guard is like sets a garrison or a fortress around our hearts and minds. And that comes from prayer, from turning over those things that cause us anxiety to someone who's much bigger to carry those things for us in our stead. And that as a result of placing those things in his care and trusting in him, that we will receive peace within. And one of the things I've been really grateful for in the last 4 weeks is the harmony in our household. And I recognize that it could be so different to be sharing 4 walls with someone that you're not compatible with, or that you haven't preserved peace with. But peace begins with me and with you. And so I would encourage you today that those things that might cause you anxiety at this time, that you would present them to the Lord and give them to him to carry for you, that his peace would descend in your life. And so the peace of Christ be with you all.